Oh, what that dang. This is the voice of the patriot, and here we speak truth to power. From the control tower, this is the office of the patriot, and my name, Blakk Rasta. And remember, here we are not neutral. We have taken sides. We have taken the side of the truth. That is why we call ourselves the headquarters of the truth. Here we don't criticize, but if we must, it must be only on one condition, and one condition only: to build and not to destroy. That is why we keep saying we are in the service of God and country. This is the voice of the patriot, and here we speak truth to power. I need you to come along, and we shall deal with this straight away. Today we have a number of issues we need to look at, and I need you to come along. And of course, remember, here we speak truth to power. Yes. My brother, my sister, today a number of issues have popped up, and I need you to open your ears with rapt attention and listen to this attentively. My brother, my sister, this is the voice of the patriot, and it's time now for action. If you are ready, I'm more than just ready, and we are about to speak. Now, the first story I want to look at is taken from Ghana Web, and it says, we are considering impeachment proceedings against Hamah. And this is the minority in parliament. In fact, the micro-minority in parliament. Now, the minority in parliament says it is considering initiating impeachment proceedings against President John Dramani Mahama. Now, the group has strongly condemned what it described as a flagrant violation of the 1992 Constitution, following the simultaneous absence of the President, Vice President, and Speaker of Parliament from the country without an acting president being sworn in. In a press release issued on Monday, May 12, 2025, the minority noted that all three top government officials were abroad at the same time, which they claim contravenes Article 60 of the Constitution. All right. So, my brother, my sister, because of that, they are looking at impeaching Mahama. All right, but there has been a response from one of the lawyers of the party. His name is Edoji Tamaklo. Edoji Tamaklo replies, minority overpower vacuum claim in the country. And I read, also from Ghana Web. Now, the acting chief executive of the National Petroleum Authority, Godwin Edoji Tamaklo, has dismissed the assertion that Ghana is experiencing a constitutional power vacuum. This is after the minority caucus in parliament raised concerns about the absence of the president of Ghana, his vice president, and the speaker of parliament from the country. Addressing the claim on Channel 1 TV on May 13, 2025, he stated that the framework of Ghana's government is functioning as intended, with institutional continuity fully intact. I thought there were three: the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. Is the acting CJ in Ghana? There is an acting CJ. It is not personal. It is the office. He explained. In furtherance of the argument, he clarified that the presence of the acting chief executive, Paul Bafuboni, in the country renders the minority's claim erroneous. So as we speak, there is an acting CJ of the Republic, and that is the reason we have 3 arms of government. What I can say is that there is no power vacuum. It does appear that the president is in the country. Tamakulu said. Well, my brother, my sister, the minority is doing everything possible to make sure that the speed with which the Hamah government is running slows down. That's all I can say. So all the appointees of the president must look sharp. It's not about President Hamah. It's all about Ghana. You see, a TMA will free. It looks like some people are already beginning to forget the 8 years of the hardships that we went through in the hands of Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia in government. Some people are beginning to forget that it took them so long to be able to gain power. And finally, they seem to be forgetting what made them get power, because some other person misbehaved so arrogantly, irresponsibly, and therefore they have to teach this individual a lesson. The same can befall us if we go the same way. I don't know what kind of brains politicians have. They seem to forget all too soon that the people who employed them are their bosses, and therefore they must respond to them with alacrity. In Ghana, politicians don't answer phone calls. And at this point, I want to say good afternoon to you, Dr. Apak. He's one of those you call, and even at midnight, when he misses your call, he will call you back. It doesn't mean he's the only person, but this is the person many people have called me and said, this man, we can vouch for him. Anytime you call him, he would answer. Another person, my brother, my sister, is the executive secretary of the president, right at the presidency. A man who was my mate at the University of Science and Technology. In fact, he was my hall president. And I'm talking about Dr. Callistus Mahama. In fact, he returned to the school to be a TA, teaching assistant. Dr. Callistus Mahama. He was a quiet student when we were on campus, very quiet. I never heard him speak until he was campaigning to become hall president. He's another person. It doesn't matter whether it is a cockroach that called, a lizard that called, my brother, my sister, or a frog that sent a text message. He would always respond. This is what every politician should be doing. You are the employees of the people. Respect the people. You are too arrogant. There are some politicians, listen, you can call them from morning till night. They never respond. I don't call politicians, so I'm not in that category. But I deal with the people, and this is the response they bring to me. I don't need to call any politician, no. But my brother, my sister, the integrity must be there. The integrity, my brother, my sister, where you would call a politician and he hearkens to your call like an employee does to a boss. Today, as I'm sitting here, it is my pension. It is in my being to respond to every call. Even if I miss it, I will always respond. Please be humble before power. If all of a sudden my boss start calling me, I'm going to respond with the same speed as I would have done with any other individual. You know why? Because it is in my being to do so. Why can't our politicians learn this? You are so arrogant. A lot of these politicians were nobodies, except that they paraded a lot of insults in their dirty mouths. People like Abronye, They have no dignity. They have no respect. My brother, my sister, is just parading insult upon insult. A lot of these so-called communicators, in fact, are insultators. Insultators. Hey, it looks like they have a dictionary of insults. Anytime they are going on radio or on TV, they are ready to unleash that upon the people. I loathe you. I dislike this character of yours. If I were the president of Ghana, which I will never be, but I'm speaking to the president. In fact, every ministry should have a suggestion box right at the entrance of that, in fact, ministry. We should have a suggestion box. We should be emptied every day. Neutral people should be able to open this, empty the boxes, and read whatever's in there and carry on forward with whatever suggestion is in there. In fact, a lot of these ministries and places of work belonging to the government and people of Ghana, some have these suggestion boxes. But if you look in there, it is cockroaches and lizards that have gone in there to lay eggs and breeding more lizards and more cockroaches. Nobody respects any suggestion box, because the last time such a suggestion box was emptied was 6 trillion years ago, when Kwame Nkrumah was only a little boy. We must have suggestion boxes. It is not outdated or outlandish, neither is it outmoded. It is not, my brother, my sister, a cliche to come out and say we need suggestion boxes. Again, every ministry's phone must be answered at the first call. That is why we have a secretary sitting down next to the phone. But secretaries are busily making tea for their bosses. Some are quickly taking quickies from their bosses. When national issues have to be attended to, secretary, your business is to deal with the phone and carry the message across, not to deliver quickies and such services to your boss. Hallelujah. My brother, my sister, our politicians are so arrogant. When they came here campaigning, they were our friends. All of a sudden, you call them and they have 1 trillion reasons they couldn't answer, and they will not have the courtesy to even return your call. My brother, my sister, Mr. President has to deal with this. He doesn't happen like that in the UK. He doesn't happen like that in Germany. It doesn't happen like that, my brother, my sister, anywhere in the EU. When you call a ministry, at the first ring, it is picked up and you are spoken to with all respect. Hello, good morning. This is the ministry of blah, 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 blah. And then you give your details quick and straight to the point, and they deal with it. In a country where we have prank calls, people call the fire service and say a certain building is on fire. Hey, describe. They tell you and make it so gory, only for the fire service to get there, and it's a prank call. You are stupid. In a country where people call the police on the no toll number, the police will rush to the place only to realize that they have been tricked by armed robbers, so their attention will be taken away for them to go and rob elsewhere. It's sad, my brother. My brother, my sister, every ministry must answer calls. Every minister should answer calls. You shouldn't only answer calls when you are campaigning to come into power. The same phone that you use can be used to answer calls. And again, the citizenry must learn not to demean themselves. You are the employers. Don't call ministers of state begging for money. You must be silly. Oh, if you are not paying, I'm indeed honorable. I come in front say I come back a crabby mami momo kakrana me fan trade and didi and mini mabe decry a problem or why? What's wrong with you? Instead of going to the Ministry of Employment, instead of calling your MP and putting pressure on him to make sure that employment opportunities are available, you are calling for crumbs from off the table, you must be dunderheaded. I don't want to prolong this, but this is what Edward G. Tamaklo is saying. The president seemingly is out of the country, but he's saying that the president is in the country. The Speaker of Parliament is out of the country. The Vice President is out of the country. If it is true that all these people are out of the country, what is this thing that is so urgent that demands that all would be out of the country? I can only guess one thing: health. We all know that the Speaker of Parliament is not in the best of health. We all know that the Vice President is not in the best of health. My brother, my sister, is it not about time that we also declared our health statuses before voted into power? It's important. The same way we have to declare assets and liabilities, let us also declare our what? Health status. After all, health is wealth. If we are, in fact, declaring our wealth, we must remember that health is also wealth. You cannot vote an epileptic person into power as your president. At every function, he is falling down and foaming in the mouth. No, it won't do us the best in the country. It is not disrespect for sickness. No. Same way you will not put a very asthmatic person to run a 100-meter race in a dusty area. It is just common sense that we need to look at our health. In a country where all ministers are running outside the country to go and get health care, it is important to declare our health status. If you are HIV positive, please tell your constituents that you are HIV positive, and that you have been HIV positive for the past 2 years, but you still need them to vote you into power. For all you know, there are a lot of HIV positive patients in your constituency who would empathize. Remember, I'm choosing my words carefully. I didn't say sympathize. They would empathize with you and vote for you. If you have coccidiosis, let them know. If you have pokpok, let them know. Don't hide your sickness when you want public office. Nothing about yours is private anymore. Everything is public. Think about it, my brother, my sister. The only reason the Vice President will be out of the country at this point, the only reason the Speaker of Parliament may be out of this country, we all remember when his leaked health status came out. He was in Dubai with a number of people taking care of his health. In a country where we have no respect for our own doctors, we don't trust them, our hospitals are ill-equipped, and politicians are busily walking around there every now and then, flaunting wealth, yet the world doesn't reflect in the well-being of the people. Please, let's stop voting people with certain illnesses into power. It will help the country. We can employ them in positions that are less dangerous. Places where their allergies will not spark up every now and then. Am I making myself clear? Am I speaking wisdom? Or is it foolishness I am spewing out? I leave it here. Now, there is something from my very good friend, Professor Ransford Jampo, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, that I need to deal with. He said the difference now is that I can judge the response. And this is Professor Jampo on his Galamsey advocacy. And I read, Professor Ransford Jampo, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Shippers Authority, GSA, has reiterated his long-standing position on the fight against illegal mining, commonly known as Galamsey, while highlighting a shift in how his concerns are now being received. If we had President Akufo-Addo saying, I'll do it, and here's what I am doing, X, Y, Z, some of us would have toned down. He said in an interview on Metro TV, according to him, instead of engaging with constructive criticism, certain individuals attempted to undermine their efforts. They went their own way to sponsor some of our own members to form splinter groups. But we were stronger and more powerful than them. So we pushed them into oblivion. They even sponsored some people against us, he added. Now, commenting further on the severity of Galamsey, Professor Gyamfi said, you see, this Galamsey thing is too drastic a situation. Maybe we should allow all of us to start falling ill. Maybe allow all of us to start dying. That's when people will realize this is not just a policy issue. He clarified that his stance is not in support of Galamsey, nor a critique of President Mahamad's intentions to fight it. At every opportunity I've had, I've reiterated my concern and my position about the need to fight Galamsey. Now the difference now is that I can measure the body language, judge the response, and see the reaction and reception, and also observe the inadequate efforts being made. It will be a shame if we leave the Galamsey fight to Professor Gyamfi. He's only a drop in the ocean. What can Professor Gyamfi do? He can only talk. That's all. My brother, and he has hit the nail right on the head. Maybe the dumb people that we are, we should be allowed to get sick. We should be allowed to die in our droves. Then we will come back and say, hey, let's all be responsible and deliberate with the fight against Galamsey. Right now, Professor Gyamfi is saying that, listen, Nana Akufo-Addo never made it known to us that this was how he was fighting Galamsey. I beg to differ. Nana Addo said that he was burning excavators and that anybody on the Galamsey field would have his excavator touched. He said it. To the point that people were even fighting him when he was doing this. Of course, we had bad party elements who demeaned and made nonsense of the president's good intentions at the time. But it also became so clear that they were only lip-serving us. In fact, with the Galamsey nuance. They were only saying that so that they would pretend to be fighting it, whilst actually they allowed party foot soldiers to kill us indirectly with this dirty Galamsey act. According to Professor Gyamfi, he has seen that in fact, President Mahammad is working towards fighting Galamsey. But the point is that it is inadequate. More has to be done. I wish the good professor would have told us how much more, and also suggest to us what more efforts need to be done. But again, let me be quick to add, to leave the Galamsey fight to Professor Gyamfi would be very, very irresponsible, number one, and two, very, very sad and unfair. We all need to put our hands on deck. Left to me alone, send soldiers and police, shoot them. Shoot them. And when I say shoot them, I'm not saying shoot them with rubber bullets. Shoot them. My brother, I hear some people say, Blakk Rasta, you are too harsh on this. Ha! If a man comes towards you and fires a gun at you, and you are able to escape it, if you have the chance to bring him down, would you say, oh no, you have to read a psalm before? You will finish the psalm in an early grave. These people are killers. They are murderers. They are bloodthirsty vampires. They are too egotistically irresponsible. Ha! You have been told that this Galamsey you are doing is killing people. Mercury is being injected into our water. People are dying left, right, and center. But you don't care because your deep abyss of some kind of love for gold will not allow you to think like a human being. So we shoot you like the animal that you are. Shoot them. If we shoot 3 people on the Galamsey pit, and my brother, my sister, give them a burial on TV, my brother, my sister, the animals will have fun. Now all the Galamsey fields would be deserted. So the good animals, like the monkeys, the antelopes, can now have peace of mind in the jungle. I leave it here. There's something here that I need to read, and I'm reading this from my Joy Online, and it says, Victoria Hamah's open letter to President Mahama on Sammy Gyamfi's dollar gift. And I read, youth in power, embracing imperfection for a progressive democratic future. Dear Mr. President, the unfolding controversy surrounding the Sammy Gyamfi dollar saga. There are a few grammatical errors there, but don't worry about that. I mean, you will still, so I'm going to read them with all the grammatical errors so that you know what I'm talking about, right? Dear Mr. President, the unfolding controversy surrounding the Sammy Gyamfi's dollar saga presents. You should have read Sammy Gyamfi, the Sammy Gyamfi dollar saga, not the Sammy Gyamfi's dollar saga, presents a moment of political complexity. One marked not merely by legal or ethical implications, but by its resonance within the broader landscape of youth inclusion and public trust. While the matter is undoubtedly fraught with public sensitivity, I write to propose a course of action that affirms both accountability and the transformative ideals that underpin the administration's governance philosophy. I respectfully submit that a formal reprimand, rather than exclusion from office, represents the most constitutionally sound and developmentally judicious response. This recommendation emerges not as an attempt to trivialize the gravity of the situation, but rather as a call for balanced adjudication, one that recognizes the necessity of accountability while remaining anchored in the principles of mentorship, institutional resilience, and democratic maturation. Your administration has, to its enduring credit, made significant strides in the political inclusion of youth and women, an achievement that reflects a deliberate disruption of the entrenched asymmetries of power that have historically marginalized these groups. And this paradigm shift is not only symbolic of progress, but also substantive in its challenge to the orthodoxies, the orthodoxies that have long governed political participation in Ghana. So, this is Victoria Hamah speaking. Yes, what she has written, content-wise, makes sense. That looking at what Sammy Gyamfi did, he should be reprimanded. In fact, punished, but not sacked. To reprimand, basically, is to warn. A warning is also a punishment, kind of. But I think it should go beyond just warning. I have talked about it already. 3 months. Go home and sit down. It is not about how much money he would have lost sitting at home for 3 months. but the psychological and emotional trauma of being suspended from office for 3 months is enough to remind a young man that there is the need to be accountable to the nuances of the nation. But reading Victoria Hamah's letter, it makes me feel, I could be wrong, that this is a woman who is trying to draw attention to her own incident of, oh, I'm only in politics to make $1 million and that's it. And she got fired and never included in this government. She's trying to say that, oh, she could have also been reprimanded. That's how I feel. I might be wrong. Now, if Sammy Gyamfi is only reprimanded, the next thing is, so why was Victoria Hamah not reprimanded, but sent away packing? Now, looking at this letter written by Victoria Hamah, I can see a deliberate attempt to be verbose. Find out what that word means. With the polysyllabic words, he's trying to impress. He's trying to flaunt some academic laurels. How many of you agree with me? She could have been simpler than all those orthodoxies and all those polysyllabic words. It's a way of flaunting academic laurels. And when you follow her on Facebook and social media, you will know that she's very good at that. The least opportunity, she wants to tell you how much she is educated. My brother, my sister, in our country, trust me, education is nothing with no common sense. If you go to school and get all the degrees and you don't have common sense, what have you achieved? You have lost your own soul. What shall it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? The Bible says. Listen, Victoria Hamah said she was in politics just to make 1 million American dollars. And that was all. She had insulted the tenets of our democracy, made nonsense of the president's appointment. Because when she was appointed, she was told that your focus should be on the building of the nation. Every appointee is supposed to work hand in hand to see the nation grow. If your aim is only to make $1 million and you are out of politics, then I shiver, I fret and sweat under this kind of appointment. President Mahama did the right thing, kicked her out, and thankfully, she's never been considered back. She never apologized. When you follow her on social media, she is even trying to justify what she said, lying that the tape was doctored. The president was able to get forensic intelligence. When the tape came out, he was embarrassed to the core. Sammy Gyamfi hasn't done a quarter what Victoria Hamah has done. They are two different cases. She was not in office to help the people of Ghana. She was there to help herself with 1 million American dollars. That was what mattered to her, and she would have been gone. Thank God, we don't need such little brains in power. No. It's been years since this thing happened, but it's most relevant as it stands right now. What Sammy Gyamfi did. And sadly, the young man does not even see the gravity of what he did. I'm sure by now they have spoken to him. If I were him, I will come back again and give a proper apology. I don't want it to seem like I am on the case of the young man. No. I want him to be a better person. He's my far to the umpteenth time younger brother. If I was one of his advisors, I would sit him down and tell him, hey, yo, you know what? You messed up. Give the people of Ghana an unqualified apology on your knees with tears in your eyes. Don't be like that one who said she was only here for $1 million American dollars. And to those defending this dastardly act, well, I don't know what kind of nation you guys want to build, but I will not be in your ship of nation building. No, you are not fit. So this letter, in short, 2 reasons to find an alibi for her case. That's my opinion. If Sammy Gyamfi is only reprimanded, oh, how about me? Me who didn't dash dollars in public, then they can stand on that and vilify Hamah and make him look like he's been subjective. That's the word. Unfair. 2, to flaunt academic laurels. She could have been simpler. There's beauty in being simple. People like me, it's better to be simple rather than flaunting academic laurels. In this, that's what I see. I could be wrong, and I leave it here. Final thing I want to look at, and this will take only about 3 minutes and I'll be done. I'm reading this from Ghana Web, and it says, hiding the Mike Quaye report indicates that the detail is horrible. And this is Uncle Kwesi Pratt talking. When I read, now the managing editor of the Inside newspaper, Kwesi Pratt Jr., has taken a swipe at the New Patriotic Party for failing to make public the findings of the report compiled by Professor Michael Quaye. Now, the report, which contains critical assessments of the party's defeat in the 2024 general elections, has reportedly been kept away from both party members and the general public. Now, speaking on the Good Morning Ghana show on Metro TV, on May 14, that's today, 2025, Pratt said that, now keeping the report away from both party members and the public is deliberate to hide damaging information. Hiding the report indicates that the detail is horrible, but there is need for transparency and accountability within the party, he indicated. Pratt suggested that the decision to withhold the report may stem from fear of political backlash. If the report contains insights that are damaging, it is precisely those insights that must be addressed if the party wants to rebuild trust, he stated. This will not happen when political parties in Ghana are occultic groupings. They are cults. Political parties in Africa in general, Ghana inclusive, are cults. C-U-L-T-S. My brother, my sister, people belong to political parties, and the way they behave is like they have meetings of occultism. Somebody can beat and kill his wife because his wife does not belong to his political party. Somebody can refuse to talk to you because you don't belong to their political party. Somebody will refuse you a job because you couldn't flaunt a certain political party's card. If this is true, how do you expect them to show a report, put it out in public, that tells their weaknesses? This will not be done. Again, the Nana Akufo-Addo government is so well known for hiding very important documents, even those that the nation so much would have relied on in order to progress. We all know that, right? My brother, my sister, as it stands right now, this party, as much as I know, is a dead party. How many people are proud to say they are NPP members? They are busily bickering and fighting, mud-slinging each other. That's what they do. Habronya is on a mud-slinging exercise. They are tearing down each other. You expect them to bring a report that damages their reputation? It won't happen. It tells you the kind of people they are. They are not transparent. They brought a certain blacksmith and deceived us that was Adam Smith. He was going to deal with our currency. At the end of the day, we saw the city performing so abysmally. And when we asked for the finance minister to be excused, no, he was rather promoted after so much demonstration. The least said about the so-called Mike Quaye report, the better. In fact, it's an occultic document which would only be released to occultists of the party. I'll leave it here.
This is 3FM. Fire! Fire!